robots took my podcast, man.
There have been films about earthquakes, airplane disasters, and blazing infernos. But there has never been anything like the Devil's Reign. His face.
That wasn't your father.
What's his face? Mother? Mother! Columbus! Damn you!
They had no faces.
The Devil's Reign. The 300-year search for the power to damn mankind is over.
Fools!
And the towering terror of the devil on earth is now unleashed.
Burn!
Burn, 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 burn. The Devil's Reign. Hundreds of souls held captive in an eternity of hell.
Seize him!
Possessed by the devil.
You, my son, have defiled all that is holy.
Mother, my God, my God!
They become his worshippers and his demons. The Devil's Reign. Starring Academy Award winner Ernest Borgnine, Eddie Albert, William Shatner, Keenan Wynn, and Ida Lupino as Mrs. Preston. And with the special participation of Anton LaVey, High Priest of the Church of Satan. The Devil's Reign. Conceived by the producer of A Man Called Horse. Created by the masters of magic of Planet of the Apes. Together, they bring you a melting hell on Earth. And absolutely the most incredible, unforgettable ending of any motion picture ever. Heaven help us all when the devils reign.
I hear something going on back there. What is that?
What? I don't hear anything. What are you talking about?
What? I hear some noise back there, Jordan. What's going on?
What are you talking about, Anthony? I don't hear anything.
I don't know what's going on. You got some sort of audio issue or some noise going on back there.
It's the Devil's Reign, Anthony.
You need to get that fixed, Jordan.
Sorry, I got a leaking problem here. Devil's reigning in here. Bad dad joke.
All right, and now for the weather, Jordan. We have a 40% chance of satanic sleet going into an 80% chance of the Devil's Reign this weekend. So have your Devil's umbrellas ready.
Yeah. The temperature is 1975, and there's a lot of Satanism, a lot of satanic movies. I'm sorry, should we get started?
Yeah, kick us off.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to our podcast. The robots took my podcast. I am Jordan.
And I am Anthony.
Well, first off, Anthony, happy 50th to you and I on our 50th episode.
Yeah,
my God.
Happy 50th to you. 50 episodes we've sat here and talked about wonderful movies like the one we're going to talk about this episode. So, yeah.
That's right. Still going. Still going. We're going like Cheers.
The golden
TV show
anniversary.
Cheers.
Yeah, we just won't stop.
We hope you all join us on our 50th episode here in our rejoicing and celebrating. And I'm running out of words now, man. I can't believe we made it this far to this 50th episode. But
yeah, a little COVID hobby that's still going on. So yeah.
Wow. I've never been committed that long to anything, except this and maybe my marriage.
Yeah.
That's right. And also happy Halloween to everyone out there. And yes.
And also, happy Halloween to everyone who's listening. This will probably air in the Halloween season. But who knows? You might be listening to this in April, so maybe it'll be Halloween for the duration of this podcast for you.
Yes.
Jordan, what movie are we talking about this episode?
The Devil's Reign from 1975, starring Ernest Borgnine, William Shatner, Tom Skerritt, and Ida Lupino.
Yeah. So, Jordan, this is one of many what they call satanic panic movies. It was a trend in the 60s, 70s, and into the 80s about, like, the fear of Satanism. Satanism was taking over the country, right?
Yes. Satanism on the rise, and the fundamentalist Christian types of religious people were frightened of this rise in the trend of Satanism. And where people were worshiping the black magic, worshiping the darkness, wearing the
Yes.
darkness and doing everything in the dark with candles
Yes.
and possibly animal blood. And it meant all sorts
Yeah.
of things, I guess. I don't know. No, I'm sorry. What does this entail?
So they demonized Satanism, no pun intended. And it
Demonized.
was with movies like Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist, The Omen, so many, too many to name.
And Hollywood, they became obsessed with Satanism too, I guess. I don't know how to say it otherwise. What the fuck was up with it? Why was everybody obsessed with occultism in the 70s? And what was up with, I guess, was it because it was okay to talk about it at this point in the 70s when it came along? Or,
Well, I think a lot of people were just joining cults of many types, as we might talk about later. But yeah,
Yes, true.
there were certainly a lot of cult activity going on, alternative religions, what have you. I think people were changing and diversifying their thoughts and worship and whatever. And this is certainly scared middle America for sure.
Yeah. This brings to mind another movie from the same year that came out 2 months previous called Race with the Devil that we also reviewed. Yes, we're going to self-reference here, sorry.
Race with the Devil. I think I remember that.
But we can't not, because this movie would make a perfect double bill with Race with the Devil.
Yeah, War Notes, Peter Fonda. Go listen to that episode. Great double bill with this. I agree.
But my God, it seems like just seems like these movies are cut from the same cloth or something in some weird way. Anyway, I don't know, man. It's weird.
Yeah, but I mean, but maybe one trouser leg is shorter than the other. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
we go through. I don't know which one. I don't know. So anyway, who directed this masterpiece, Jordan?
Was it? Did I get his name right? Robert West. I didn't have it written down, but I just saw it so many times. Did I say that right?
Yeah, an English film director. He directed the abominable Dr. Phibes movies.
Oh, he did, didn't he? I love that movie, actually, with Vincent Price. Yeah, where it's kind of like a Phantom of the Opera type movie. It's bizarre. Talk about another bizarre movie anyway. We should talk about that movie sometime. Anyway.
Yeah.
Produced by Sandy Howard also, may I bring in.
Mm-hmm.
Who was busy at this time in the 70s. He later went on to produce, like a year later, Embryo with Rock Hudson and Barbara Carrera, movie about cloning, and then Skywriters with James Coburn, which also had another movie with had another big trend in the 70s, which was not skydiving, but hang gliding.
Oh yeah, hang gliding.
Skywriters has had a lot of hang gliding in it.
Oh, totally. Like we talked about that in
like another movie we talked about, The Man from Hong Kong.
Another movie
we said we weren't going to reference our own episodes.
I know, God damn it.
And now we did.
I know, The Man from Hong Kong. Yes, the audio's terrible. Don't listen to that. Or listen to that episode is what I mean.
That was early audio, definitely. Yeah.
So, Jordan, who was the director of photography?
Did I miss that? Who was the director of photography? I'm so sorry.
Alex Phillips Jr., who also was the director of photography. This movie was filmed in Mexico, in Durango, Mexico.
Yes, even though it's set in Arizona, I think, right? But yeah, filmed in Durango.
Somewhere.
Mexico.
He was also a Mexican cinematographer, sort of avant-garde, who was also the cinematographer on Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, a movie.
Oh my God. Okay, wow.
Movie.
Yet another movie we talked about. But yeah,
another War Notes movie, yeah.
That makes sense because he clearly has like this minimalist style where he just uses probably photo floods and stuff mostly a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But still knows how to shoot a barren landscape
Yep.
really well.
He can shoot a barren landscape with the best of them.
I'm not really complimentary. I'm sorry.
This is like Lawrence of Arabia. No, it's not. Anyway.
It is beautifully shot in widescreen anamorphic cinemascope, yes.
And also Al DeLore did the music for this, studio musician who worked with Glenn Campbell, just everybody back in the day. Grammy winner. And a really interesting soundtrack to this film. I think we'll discuss as we go along.
It's just a lot of this, basically, the soundtrack. Once again. So you don't have to do sound effects later on in the editing. I just brought it right there for you.
Did you know what that sounds like? That sounds like you bought one of those animatronic Grim Reapers at the hardware store or something, Jordan.
Oh, it's Spirits?
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah, I got this. This is a Devil's Reign cosplay, moving mechanical cosplay from Spirits that I got. Looks just like William Shatner. And yeah, this comes on every time. Yeah.
Every time some trick-or-treaters come up. Anyway, so who was also a consultant on this film, Jordan?
Anton LaVey, America's premium Satanist at the time. I'm sorry, I don't know how to, how do I describe him?
High priest of the Church of Satan, Alameda chapter. No,
I can't stop this thing. I'm sorry.
yeah. What is High priest of the Church of Satan, and who I guess
The Anton LaVey.
The Anton LaVey,
Yeah.
who's the face of Satanism for a very long time, the bald head of Satanism.
Yeah, like this confuses me here. Anton LaVey was the consultant on this movie, but yet this movie looks. Satanism isn't supposed to look frightening in reality to a lot of Satanists, but this movie makes it look really fucking frightening. Why would he lend his name to this movie? That's what I'm saying, I guess.
That's a good question. Probably the press. I mean, maybe in some way he thought that this would sort of evangelize Satanism. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
And plus, who doesn't want their name on a movie, man? I don't think Satanists would care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it'd be as weird as like Pat Robertson making a movie about Jonestown.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, why would the church allow Last Temptation of Christ to be made? Oh, wait, never mind.
Ooh.
Never mind.
Going all the way back to... Wait, 1988 just cried out loud with controversy. The controversy came back. Anyway, yeah, Martin Scorsese's Last Temptation of Christ controversy. That's another podcast right there. Anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, check out him in a documentary called Witchcraft 70 if you ever really want to see what that was like.
Oh, yeah, that movie, yeah.
And so anyway, and how does this movie begin, Jordan?
Wait, okay, am I lost here? But it begins with Ida Lupino. They're in the house.
But first, I mean, that's how it begins. But first,
Rainstorm.
We get a very long credit to Pat.
I'm sorry, yeah, I should describe
sequence.
The credits. Because they use these paintings in the background by the famous artist Hieronymus Bosch, who did very frightening, hellacious kind of Dante's Inferno-ish kind of influence kind of paintings. Very, yeah. And you have more of that bizarre kind of music over it the whole time. All this with some kind of music. I'm sorry.
Anyway, he gets
it's fucking frightening, though. Yeah, actually, the credits.
It's very bizarre. It really sets the tone. You're like, what the hell am I watching from the get-go? And Bosch gets a credit in the movie. I don't know if they're worried about him coming back from the dead and suing them. I don't know.
I know. Was it not? I guess his paintings weren't public domain at that point? Or
I don't know. Hey, European laws, they're very strict, Jordan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very strict. But anyway, cut to a crucifix and a heavy storm, and then Emma Preston, played by...
Ida Lupino, yes.
Who was?
She was, goddamn, Ida Lupino goes way back. She was actress in the golden era of 30s and 40s Hollywood. She was a director even. One of the first women directors ever in Hollywood, to her credit.
Yeah.
She was a veteran at that point, definitely. And she's a great actress, obviously. She's great in this movie. Yeah. She's one of those definitely actors that lended some credence to this movie.
Yeah, British actress. Yeah, great, stalwart. I will say this movie, I don't know how they did it, Jordan. I don't know how they did it, but they really got some talented people in this cast.
Yeah, they got great actors in this cast. No joke. I mean,
as we will see, but so it's raining. It's raining a lot. It's this huge storm, and they're in the middle of the desert.
Hard cats and dogs, and we're supposed to be in the desert in Arizona in this house.
Yeah,
out in the middle of nowhere, this cabin,
and she's worried, and we meet her son Mark, who's played by
William Shatner. Before Star Trek the motion picture. After Star Trek the TV show. Living in his pickup truck. After a divorce. No, I don't know. That was but I'm just joking.
Let's talk about this. Why is Shatner in this movie, Jordan? I mean,
but he's really great in this movie. He is great in this movie.
He's great in this movie, but I think we'll find out that he gets a co-starring credit. And he's good in this movie, and really a departure for him, I will say, from the get-go. Quite a departure.
But at this point, he was doing everything. He'd already played a serial killer in a TV movie at this point, even.
Yeah.
He was doing a lot of TV at this point, though, and pretty much taking anything that would hire him. Because he died, because he had kids at that point. He had babies.
Yeah. The Star Trek cartoon, wasn't there a Star Trek cartoon? I mean, yeah, this is not the William Shatner of today who can't stop working. This is the
He had started doing conventions at that point too on the side, even just banking wherever he could, honestly. And who could blame him? Can't blame him brother for working.
But yeah, but I mean, he doesn't say no to the script anyway. But he said yes to this script, and he comes in. His mother's worried. There are no signs of his father. The phone doesn't work. There's this huge storm. But she's like had this dream, this terrible dream that begins with the storm.
Oh, that's right.
His father dying. And then Jordan, the father shows up outside in the rain. And Jordan, describe him.
Oh, wait. The father is the with his face melting and shit?
Yeah, with his face melting and shit. You're exactly right. What is happening?
In the rain?
In the rain. What is happening?
And he's like, Corbus, blah, 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 something. Yeah. Corbus wants the book, motherfucker.
Yeah, give Corbus the book. Corbus is waiting on the book. He's in the Redstone Desert. Give him what belongs to him. Right? So no explanation off the bat.
Yeah.
This is what we get. So, folks, you know as much as we do.
Which is confusing because he looks like Tom Skerritt, right?
Looks like Tom Skerritt, but then they show a picture of the father and he looks way different.
Who we later see.
Yes. Unsettling and weird, for sure. It's not often you begin...
Okay, so I wasn't... You weren't the only one confused by that then.
No,
okay, I was confused.
Yeah. So, I mean, Jordan, I think you and I have both seen this movie before.
Yeah, I guess I never got through it all the way, technically, though, really. You know what I mean? Because I don't remember a lot of this stuff.
Jordan, you're the one who turned me on to this movie. Like,
I know, and I'm like, I completely forgot about some elements of this movie. I really did. I remember all this, the beginning part, definitely, for sure. But all the stuff in the middle and near the end, I'm like, what? I don't remember that. How long has it been since I revisited this movie?
Me too. There's a lot of stuff I didn't remember. I hadn't seen it. I swear, Jordan, and I'm going to out myself. I swear I saw this just a couple years ago, like around Halloween, and I didn't remember half of this movie. Like, I don't know why. This movie just, I don't know. It wipes your memory, except for a certain part of it.
That's the weird thing about this movie, though, I'm noticing. Yeah, because I'm like, going, wait a minute. Where was that? How did I miss that part?
Yeah. Anyway, so there's this guy, Corbus, and we know there's a book. There's a Redstone Desert. Corbus wants the book. It's his autographed copy of A Handmaid's Tale, and he wants it back. But what a way to start a movie. Just jump right in. Father melts in the rain.
Yeah.
In the first 30 seconds, you're like, what is going on here? But yeah, I mean, we don't know anything about this book. We don't know anything about this Corbus, whatever a Corbus is.
We don't know if it's his copy of Catcher in the Rye or Mein Kampf that was autographed. Yeah. I don't know. We don't know. Not yet.
Not yet. We'll find out. And Corbus runs a book club, and he is very protective of his copy of whatever it is. And so, yeah. And then so the mother is talking about more dreams she has. So there's this element of psychic dreaming that's happening here. And guys, this happens out of nowhere. They're just in some room. There's no real backstory. There's no like screen crawl in the beginning that explains anything. Just a bunch of people in a room.
Yeah.
You're just
it's like a play almost, or like a TV movie setup.
Yeah, and because you're sitting there and you're like,
but very vague, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's all very vague, and the mother pulls out a book from this compartment in the floor in this small pouch in which she has an amulet, and then she tells Mark, like, here, give the book to Corbus. You know, and this amulet will protect you. And this is the point where I'm like, is there a reel missing here? Like, what did I, you know, and I wanted to scroll back and be like, did I miss something? I swear, you know, like, what is going on here?
No, I agree. It does feel like, I felt like this a lot of times, like, wait, there's a missing reel here, right?
Yeah.
Did they edit something out to my memory here? What happened? Corbus, damn you! I'm sorry.
And so Mark says, yeah, exactly. Mark says he won't give the devil's man what he wants. And he said instead
Mark.
Hi, Mark. You seem to be the expert, Mark. So he's not going to give this book up to whatever a Corbus is.
And this is as he's arming himself with his Desert Eagle or whatever, right?
Yeah, he pulls out this hand cannon out of a drawer, and you're like, damn, dude, that's serious.
And he says, my father would agree with what I'm doing, or, you know.
Yeah. And so he goes out a Corbus hunting, because it's Corbus season. And Jordan, my dad actually, like, his first car was a 1969 Dodge Corbus. So connection to my family here.
Wow, you got a connection to Devil's Rain, Anthony. Whoa.
Anyway, so anyway, the mom's like, "Oh no. There's a truck that comes. It's raining." He goes outside and he opens the door of this truck, and what does he find, Jordan?
He opens the door of the truck and wait, where are we in the movie? I'm sorry. Opens the
We're
door
at
of
the
the truck.
beginning still. We need to move along. He said he finds this voodoo doll pinned to the steering wheel.
Oh, that's right. He finds a voodoo doll. It looks just like Ida Lupino, his mother, dressed in the same clothing. He finds it stabbed, and then he walks back inside. And
yeah, what does he find when he goes back inside?
basically, the whole place has been ransacked out of nowhere, right? And I mean, just completely ransacked. Like, we didn't even see these people come in.
Nobody, yeah.
And it just looks like they ransacked the place and nobody's there.
Yeah, somebody ransacked the place. And the first thing he sees is John, who is the sort of a simple man, I would say, a caretaker or assistant to the mom.
The weak old man that lives there. Yeah.
Yeah. He is hanging upside down by his ankles. And then
they strung him upside down. That's right. They hog-tied him a little.
And then Mark sees this. He gets him down and he screams, "Con!" I mean, he says, "Corbus!"
It is the exact same kind of dialogue reading as Star Trek 2, though. Yes, The Wrath of Khan. Yeah, he says it the same exact way. He does. You're right. He says, "Corbus! Damn you!" We didn't get a "damn you" or Wrath of Khan. Too bad, you know.
Yeah. But that was quick. I mean, it could have been one shot. He was outside for 30 seconds. So that adds to the creep factor of this.
Yeah, because they got in there quick somehow and left.
Yeah, they distracted him, and it's so unsettling. And you got this weird, chaotic flute music that's playing over all of this. And he takes the amulet and he goes. And somehow it stopped raining by the time he gets back outside. So I don't know if that's...
The next day, it's all dry.
Is it the next day, or is it like 2 minutes later? I don't know.
But it's odd. Yeah, you're right. It stopped raining and the sun is out. Well, it's cloudy, but yet it's dusty still.
It's dry. Everything is dry, yes.
Everything is very dry. When he drives away after he collects the amulet and the gun, the amulet that's supposed to protect him. We'll talk about that later on.
Yeah.
But and then and he drives off. It's very dry. Dust kicking up and everywhere. And
and he's looking for the Red Rock Desert. But yeah, that is clearly just a production.
And it's a beautiful shot when he drives off.
Yeah, a production oversight there of just not wetting down the road, because it was supposed to be literally flooded. And we find out there was a flood later on that hit the county and has killed people, washed out bridges. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's ever rained, because this is the desert in Mexico.
That would have been even more interesting, right? If he couldn't have left the house because it was still raining and he had to go back in and investigate, and these people were still there, but they slowly crept back up and he figured out who ransacked the place. Anyway,
there's a lot of couldas in this.
Yeah,
they could have had some continuity here, Jordan, between day and night for these two scenes, which is not the only time that happens in this movie, right?
It's got the Ed Wood logic of day and night or day for night. Yeah, exactly.
This movie is so weird and unsettling, and so he drives into this abandoned Old West town set. And I mean, it's bizarre.
Yeah. I wonder if this was shot in Durango, Mexico still, if this was some leftover Western setup in Mexico or something. But clearly this was some Western set. But you're right. It's what did he do? Drive up to the Spawn movie ranch? I mean, where the Manson family lives in 1968 and 9?
Yeah. There's no doubt this is a movie set. It looks very weird. But I will say something about Alex Phillips Jr.'s camera work here. There's a weird scene where literally someone's just has a handheld camera in the back seat, and he leaves, and they're filming Shatner as he looks around from inside the car out the window. There's a lot of Dutch angles. There's a lot of just weirdness going on as far as the cinematography goes.
Mm-hmm.
Low angles. There's a language to cinema. You know what I mean, Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
The filming. And this movie kind of throws that out of the window at times and just kind of, I think it's all trying to give you this weird, unsettled, dystopian feeling. But there's a feeling of isolation and a dreamlike quality to this movie because of
it's
all
like a nightmare.
Yeah.
The whole thing is like a bad dream.
Which, is that good? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's certainly interesting when the movie starts out. Then he meets a man
played by Ernest Borgnine.
And who is Ernest Borgnine for those of us that aren't 100 years old?
Well, by that point, he'd already done Poseidon Adventure with Gene Hackman, the disaster film. And I mean, yeah, he was in everything. Black Hole. He was in McHale's Navy, the remake in the 90s. God, but I can't even imagine how to tell. The Wild Bunch. Yeah, he's been in everything. God, I don't even know where to start. He got most famous for being in the movie Marty. Was that it? Where he plays the lonely guy looking for love?
Well, one might say he was in the movie Marty. Another might say he won the Academy Award.
Yeah.
And what was that, 55 or whatever it was for starring in that movie? Yeah.
He won that little Academy Award for it.
He won a little Academy Award.
For being in Marty. And
he's been in so much stuff, and I love him. He just has this big toothy grin and these crazy eyes. And in this movie, they give him weird, cheesy eyebrows.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He's got that voice too. That I'm Ernest Borgnine.
I don't know. He's just such a character. He's just amazing.
But he's got some power in this movie. He's great in this movie, I will say. Yeah, he's got some command here. He's frightening. He holds his own with Shatner, for God's sakes. He holds his own with Captain Kirk in a scene.
Yeah,
in this scene especially.
And this is interesting because, like you said, it's kind of like a play. It feels kind of stagey. The dialogue isn't telling you a lot of what's going on. You have to put the pieces together, and in a way. You could read this movie to be kind of like something like Stephen King's The Stand. Like there's a lot of metaphor going on.
Oh, yeah. This is like an apocalyptic kind of thing going on. Maybe.
But it doesn't tell you everything. You got to figure it out.
But he says to him, I'm looking for Corbus, and he says, speak, right? I mean, and you kind of get the idea already. Oh, he must
You found him.
Yeah, you found him. Yeah, he says it. Yeah, that's right. You found him. Speak. Talk to me. It almost, they're both wearing these cowboy hat style sun hats, and it almost looks like a Western standoff in some way. But I don't know. There's something frightening already and imposing about Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah.
You think some bad shit is already going to happen with him. And of course, this is when,
Hold on. I've got a garbage truck right here outside my place. Sorry. Can you give me 1 second?
Oh. Your phone call is very important to us.
Living downtown. All right. Okay, anyway. But, I like what you say about the Old West shootout because it really becomes a battle of faith.
Yeah.
So we don't know what really the faith is, but Corbus is like, my faith is strong. And he wants to show Mark what his faith is in. He's like, come on over here. And then Mark issues a challenge. He just points at the camera, and I love this. He says, I'll face whatever you have behind those doors, and I'll come out exactly as I went in. His faith against Corbus's faith.
That's the thing, too. We forgot to mention that Ernest Borgnine walked out of a little old-timey chapel at the same time, right in this Western town setting.
It's all boarded up. The windows are all boarded up so no light can get
Almost
inside.
looks like where my wife and I got married in Texas, honestly.
No,
we got married in a cute little old restored antique chapel.
in a boarded up, old, scary, abandoned church.
That's what I loved about it. It looked just like the chapel in Devil's Reign, but brand new.
Oh, Ernest Borgnine was threatening you.
I got an Ernest Borgnine lookalike that I found in the Dallas area. Yes, he was great.
So anyway, his faith against Corbus's faith. If he wins, he gets his parents back. And Corbus is like, if he loses, then what happens?
Then he gets his soul or some shit. But I just remember
he says,
what happens.
I get you.
I get you, yeah.
But you get this feeling from this cryptic dialogue, this emptiness, this vacancy in this town. There's sort of this helplessness, and you get the feeling there are greater powers at play. Kind of like Equinox. Remember Equinox?
That other movie you talked about.
God dang it. I can't stop.
We said we weren't going to do this, Anthony. We promised we wouldn't reference the other podcasts, and we're doing it now.
But why do we talk about so many movies with similar themes and MacGuffins?
Great, Anthony. Now you're going to have to answer to Corbus.
I know. So he takes him into the old church, and what do we see, Jordan?
This is where we see, oh my God, it's like a sort of mass ritual going on, and it's everybody a black mass, if you will, and everybody is in black cloaks sitting in pews, and there is Corbus and Ernest Borgnine.
What do we see? Like, what does the church look like? Is it
but the church is blacked out. It's got a pentagram. Well, it's got stained glass in the center of it with sort of a satanic sort of pentagram on there, and kind of imbued in it, kind of, and and also a goat's head kind of in the center, kind of etched into it.
Yeah.
And it's all black all around. It's so dark, matching the cloaks. That's the freaky thing I thought, was how dark it is inside, and lit by candles. And William Shatner, Mark, just sits down there in the back and acts like he's praying, and he has that amulet on him, thinking it's going to protect him. And he's holding on to it for dear life at this point, like a life raft, constantly, like a rosary, in a vampire movie.
Exactly that. And so he's clearly scared of this, as well he should.
As are we, the audience, at this point. Even I was just freaked out, because it's late, really late at night. I'm watching this alone by myself, and I am just freaked out of my mind just watching this whole sequence, honestly, just going, oh my God. I thought Anthony and I were going to do something bad, and this actually is scaring me. This is doing what it's supposed to be doing at this moment.
I would say, it's quite frightening. It's
really
a satanic altar. And I think it's got to be Anton LaVey dressed the set. And that's, whatever. Yeah. It looks scary. Borgnine looks like he's in his element, honestly.
Right.
You believe him as this satanic priest as he begins this satanic ceremony, and all the people in the pews, you never see their faces. They all begin chanting in Latin.
Their heads are bowed as well. They're all cloaked and hooded, so their hoods are just, all you see is their hoods and their mouths mostly, and barely their eyes.
Yeah, they're all chanting in Latin, and I don't know why Latin is always the language of magic, Satan, God, whatever you need. Whenever you need a language in movie.
I thought I noticed Latin there just by the sounds of it, honestly, not being the biggest expert. Even Excalibur didn't resort to that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So like you said, Mark's clutching his amulet as this black mask goes on. I love this scene. They're intercutting Mark saying the Lord's Prayer over Corbus's satanic chants.
Right. Yet he's holding this amulet, which is clearly not a crucifix or anything. So it's kind of weird. It's not even a Celtic cross or anything he's holding, I don't think.
Yeah.
Which makes it kind of weird in a way. Because I'm like, it makes it look like he's just chanting gibberish that's not going to save him.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, maybe that was a choice in the movie.
I don't know if that was conscious, yeah.
But Corbus wants his body as a vessel. They're having this war of faith. He wants his body. So Corbus is like, Martin Fife is going to basically come into your body. Someone named Martin Fife. And he's like, no, I am Mark Preston. He's fighting for his identity as he is praying, as they are having this battle. And clearly Shatner kind of loses this battle. And I think the acting is great in this scene from both parties. I think Shatner really shows fear and weakness. And he loses this battle and he runs outside. Yeah.
When he runs outside too, you talk about camera work. You can tell they use like a car on part of this for like a kind of dolly movement shot.
Mm-hmm.
They must have the camera on the back of a truck. You know what I mean? But you get this, they got this nice movement where Shatner's trying to run from the cloaked people when he runs out of the church. I don't know if I'm skipping ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're right there. I mean, he runs out of the church. I mean, first you see, I left this out. He sees his mother and her eyes are gone. It's her face.
Yeah.
But her eyes are black. There's no eyes there. And she's calling to him and he freaks out, join us, and he.
Yeah. Ida Lupino looks so creepy with her eyes blacked out because you could just, and the thing is we barely got to know her, but that just shows what a good actress she was in the beginning because we get to know her just in those few moments as she's, we've got to give Corbus the book or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like.
And then he pulls his gun and he shoots one of the parishioners, and instead of blood, some strange orange-colored liquid, like a popsicle that melted or something, comes out of him.
It looks like it's got a wax, I'm guessing they probably had watered down cornstarch they used with food coloring or flour and water, maybe for this effect with food coloring. But yeah, that's what it looks like too. They had a pump going on the actors where they did, but yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. So Corbus says, "This is your faith?" Like he pulls the gun. He's like, that's your faith. And that is his faith. Yeah. He doesn't have a strong enough faith to take Corbus on. So he's resorted to the gun and then he runs outside.
And I guess it's too much earthbound to combat Corbus.
Yeah.
Using a Desert Eagle gun. That is the only thing he believes in is a gun.
Yeah. And that's his amulet, at this point.
Which is kind of deep in a way almost, yeah.
Yeah. And then Corbus casts a spell on him because he's got the amulet. And then what happens to the amulet?
He casts a spell. The amulet turns into a snake around Shatner's neck, Mark's neck. And he's just like, and he tosses it off, but then it turns back into the amulet. And of course, he can't scramble enough to get after it enough because the people in Halloween black cloak costumes are after him and all descending upon him in this zombie-like way, in a very creepy way. It's fucking scary, honestly, though. I may talk cynically here, honestly, but it scared me. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, to me, it's really bizarre and twisted, and the movie is working for me at this point. I will say, Corbus says, the family name of Preston will be no more.
Like, this movie is not great, yeah, but it's also not too bad to where I was just like, oh, it's so bad I can see the strings and the fishing line. But I was scared during these scenes. I was genuinely like, I thought we were going to review something more bad where you could see through the cracks of the movie, but no, it was effective here. Anyway.
Yeah. Then we cut to Eddie Albert. And who is Eddie Albert for anyone under 130?
Eddie Albert, good God, he's been acting since the beginning of the turn of the century, I think. No. He had a son
Roman Holiday, right?
Roman Holiday. He had a son named Edward Albert Jr.
He was in a little TV show with a very charming pig.
He was in yeah, that's right. What was the show called? Oh, my God, the pig show?
Green Acres.
Green Acres. Oh, my God. I first knew him from this movie Dreamscape from 1984 where he played the president.
Yeah.
And they were trying to assassinate him in his dream. Spoilers. Anyway. And yeah, and I was an extra on a movie that his son was in called Space Marines. His son was the star. Not a plug at all. Good luck finding it. There's a Turkish version on YouTube if you want to check it out. Anyway.
Turkish Space Marines. Plug. Definitely a plug.
Well, they're all talking in Turkish. It's just a Turkish edit.
Makes the movie version. Better somehow. Makes it better.
Did. It made it look like a foreign film that was better than the one I was actually in. Barely in, I should say.
Subtitles help.
Because I was just an extra on it. Edward Albert Jr., unfortunately, was in this movie way more than I did and had dialogue, and now it's in Turkish in this movie.
But back to this movie, which is in English. And his father plays Dr. Sam Richards, who's like a doctor of I don't know what. Parapsychology. He's like Bill Murray in Ghostbusters. Psychology and parapsychology.
Yeah, okay. This is where we meet Tom Skerritt and his wife in the movie, played by, and I can't remember her name. And she's laying on a table, but Edward Albert Jr. is, what is he a doctor of? You're right. What is... He's like, because, now, you can see this. We're going to do this experiment with her. And it's some kind of hypnotic experiment. And like Tom Skerritt, is this where Tom Skerritt says the line?
Yeah.
Trust me, I wouldn't try it on my wife if I didn't know it was going to work, like.
His wife is on the table. And I think Dr. Richards is a chiropractor. I don't know. Anyway, she's on this table in front of a class and she's controlling her heartbeat with her mind and sort of a mind over matter.
This scene has using your wife as a guinea pig power going on in it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jordan's wife, Katie, would be like, hell no, I'm not getting on that table in front of that class.
Yeah. I couldn't convince her even. That's a losing argument.
But they're working to isolate brain waves so they can control, I guess, the brainwaves that are responsible for ESP. There's some sort of mumbo jumbo going on.
Now, this is the problem here, I guess. This is like another movie we're in all of a sudden, right?
Yes.
It's like containing too much in one movie here at this point. It's like baking a cake and suddenly deciding you're going to do a bacon brownie. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like here's what I picture happened at this point. There's two guys with like completed films, each walking down a hallway, taped together, and then they accidentally ran into one another, and the tape just kind of, film just went everywhere. With another movie called The Andromeda Factor or the Psychic World of Marv.
They were like, hey, which reel was mine? Which reel was yours? I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out later on. You take that, I'll take this, and because I got to get back to work. I don't have time. That's how it went, right?
Yeah, nobody's going to know.
He tried to track that guy down later on. He found out he went on vacation the next week. There's no way to talk to him. He was stuck with those reels. Oh, no.
But thank God this happened in 1975 and nobody noticed.
Yeah.
And the actress who plays Tom's wife, Tom Preston, which is Mark's brother, we find out.
Oh, hi, Mark. Yes.
Oh, hi, Mark. Julie Preston is played by an actress, Joan Prather, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She's from your favorite town, Dallas, went to Highland Park High School. And do you know where she is? Do you recognize her, Jordan?
No, what else do I recognize her from? I'm sorry.
Eight is Enough, your favorite show.
Oh, that's right.
She plays like David's wife, or I
Oh
I
no,
can
no,
remember
she
that show.
was she the oldest son's fiance, then wife eventually. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eight is Enough. Classic late 70s. She was
Classic.
Grant Goodeve's fiance on the show. That's what it was. Grant Goodeve's character is David Addison Bradford. Not Addison. David Addison was moonlighting. Sorry, David Bradford from Eight is Enough's fiance. Yes. Anyway, sorry.
Yes. This has been another edition of Grandpa Jordan Remembers a Show that he saw reruns of.
I'm sorry. It was enough getting through this movie. Oh my God, my brain was hurting. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway,
where's my medication?
she went to Highland Park High School, so anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting.
No shit.
Cheerleader, yeah.
Joanne Prather from Dallas,
Anyway.
Texas.
Yeah, so she has psychic visions, like the mom kind of does, right? And we get clips
Yes.
from later on in the movie interspersed in
That's right.
her, she's like, it's like I'm watching a movie and I'm also acting in it, which is some weird form.
Not Joanne Prather, but her character in the movie has all these psychic visions. Yes.
Yeah, but she's kind of breaking the fourth wall,
She's always staring at the camera, yeah. She really helps the movie develop along, I guess.
She adds some more confusion to this movie with her psychic dreams and vision.
Yeah. Talk about Deus Ex Machina early on.
And allows the editor to spoil pretty much the rest of the movie by what she's seeing in her vision.
Yeah.
So I don't like that scene. I don't think it was necessary.
That's what kept throwing me off on this movie. Every time I'd come back to this scene, I'd go, what? Wait. Am I still in the same movie? When I had to go up and get another beer, go to the bathroom, whatever, when I'd come back, I'd be like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. And then we cut to Tom telling a very unhelpful Sheriff Owens, played by Keenan Wynn. Now, Keenan Wynn, famous comedian father, Ed Wynn, but he's got this big mustache in my mind.
Yeah.
He's always playing the unhelpful sheriff in a movie. I don't know. He's just always some.
He had an actual cowboy show for a while in the 50s called The Unhelpful Sheriff. Did you know that? Keenan Wynn, The Unhelpful Sheriff.
Well, son, maybe somebody should do something about that bank robbery and those men. Not me.
That was every week.
Anyway, so, I mean, that's way more helpful than the sheriff in this movie because Tom is like, my entire freaking family is missing.
Yeah.
And John, the old crazy man, says that Mark went over to Red Rocks to find them. And the sheriff is like, oh, nobody's been there in years. And this storm, the storm that came through must have blown around all the furniture in your house. You know,
Not everything, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, and caused your whole family to disappear. They must have taken him up in a tornado and taken him to us. I don't know.
I'm sorry, the whole storm ransacked your house the way it did, but...
And somehow took your money. I don't know.
Yeah. And your mom's jewelry. Sorry.
And so he says he can't... He says, well, I mean, obviously, clearly look around at this dry desert. This storm that just went through has hurt a lot of people, washed out some bridges, and I just can't spare anyone to go down 2 miles down to Red Rocks and investigate.
Yeah.
Because we're so busy with the storm damage.
Oh, this movie.
Exactly. And the storm ransacked the fridge and just ate a bunch of food that was in there, including Mark's lunch that he had in there. He was saving for tomorrow.
And somehow left like the roads perfectly dry for Shatner to drive out there. How did this storm do all that?
Quite a storm.
Quite a storm. They only get this in Arizona, apparently. One time a year.
Yeah. So a little segment we call Learning from Movies. Folks, if you happen to find yourself in a Satanist movie, do not go to the town sheriff. He will not help you.
By the way, there's a great documentary you should check out from '87. It's only available on VHS called Arizona Satanic Storms. No joke.
all about Satanist storms.
All about when Satanists are active in storms. And
it's like tornadoes do weird things. You know what I mean? They'll knock down one tree, leave the other up, or, it's like Satanist storms are just wacky.
That's the only way to explain all this. Yes. They ransack the place. Yes. Your plants are watered, but they're moved out of the place they were in originally. I don't know. Just to fuck with you.
Yeah. Or the 1995 Bill Paxton movie, Satan Storm, in which you got some Satan storm chasers.
Bill Paxton.
Pretty good, too.
Helen Hunt.
So don't go to the town sheriff, everybody. Just like in another documentary called Race with the Devil, which I think lays this case out even better than this movie.
Oh yeah, the local sheriff is no help in this movie once
No
again,
help.
basically.
Yeah, they're not going to help you. Or anyone,
Yeah.
really. So he tells John the caretaker, Tom is like, I'm going to Red Rocks. Tell Dr. Richards when he comes for whatever reason, because the plot of this movie needs him to, that I'm going to Redstone to find my family. And then John keeps trying to tell them about, oh, the people that took your mom, they had melted faces. They're just faceless people, you know, and your father melted and all this. And everyone's like, shut up, you old man. Go sit and, you know, leave us alone. We don't want to hear your crazy ramblings, because the young folks don't listen to the old folks, Jordan. They just don't listen to that rambly wisdom.
Every time they ignore them in a horror film. Every time.
Yeah. So if you're taking notes, that is, don't talk to the sheriff. And if somebody is like crazy and rambling, listen to them. It's a horror movie.
It's usually the bad omen. The old man is always the bad omen of what's to come.
Anybody in a rocking chair creepily talking to themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are you saying? I'm going to write this down.
Okay. I don't know if you want to go that way. A few folks went that way, never came back. That's right. If you ignore that man in the movie, you're going to be, you know, that's going to be the worst thing. Then your horror movie will be over in 15 minutes if you listen to the guy and go like, you know what, maybe we should pay attention and go the other way and not go that one way where the sign wasn't off, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Like, no, but instead everyone's like, shut up, you old man. You don't know what you're talking about. We're going to go to my aunt's house that she left me in the will.
It's always clear in these movies, you know, the old man, there's a fork in the road. Now you want to ignore the one with the skull, because that's where bad things happen.
Yeah. Or someone's like, yeah, don't go to that old lake. It's haunted.
Exactly. And Chainsaw Massacre, I was watching that the other night. The old man told them not to go that way, and he was literally the guy that ended up being the whole puppet master of the whole thing anyway. But he literally gave them a way out, and they ignored him. Dumbass hippies. Guys like an old man. Dumbass hippies. Anyway, I'm sorry. Back to Devil's Reign.
Back to this movie, and back at the church, Corbus has Mark chained to the altar and is torturing him, carving a pentagram into his chest.
God, it looks hot. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, it's sweaty.
Shatner has worked out. He looked in shape here, I gotta say though.
Yeah. This is a pre-corset. You know,
I mean, yeah. If I were going to be an actor in this scene, I would want to make sure I was going to be in shape if I was going to be tortured in a satanic scene. But I'm sorry, a corset?
Yeah.
Oh, Shatner was always covering his gut area, though. I see what you mean.
So this is Shatner pre-Spanx. So, he's definitely in shape here.
He's wearing something to suck his gut down, where it's covering his gut, his beer gut.
Yeah, he's even thinner than I think in the last season of Star Trek when he stopped taking the shirt off. You know what I mean?
Oh,
anyway.
That's what he was doing that whole time. Making it look like it was all shrink down around there, like he just worked out, but it was just early Spank.
He invented Spanx. Anyway.
I invented Spanx. Yeah, I call them Shanks. Named after Shatner. Shank.
Anyway, he has Corbus has Mark chained to the altar and is torturing him, and then a woman kisses him, who turns into his mother. Freakiness, Freudian weirdness.
This is also nerd alert. The first time, nerd weird alert. This is the first time we've heard Shatner screaming in torture like this since The Enemy Within episode of Star Trek, Anthony.
I'm proud of you, Jordan. I'm proud of you.
That was an episode where they went, Shatner had to face another Captain Kirk. Anyway, I'm sorry. Back to the movie.
I got it.
Okay.
Anyway, so they tie him upside down. Thank you for that. Fun fact.
Yes, fun fact.
They tie him upside down on the cross, and then Tom arrives in Red Rocks, right? We get more groaning and creepy
Tom
screeching.
Skerritt arrives, yes.
And his mustache. Now, Tom Skerritt's mustache gets double billing in movies and separate paycheck.
He had an extra guy for his mustache, actually, doing the chisel work.
Yeah.
That was in his contract, from what I know. His mustache is so perfect, isn't it?
He's definitely from the mustache school of acting, for sure. But they don't give him or his mustache really much to do in this movie, unfortunately.
They didn't give the brawn he used credit either, the electronic brawn razor he was using.
He's got a lot of work to do against that manly mustache. So then he and his wife Julie enter the church.
His wife Julie, yes.
They see this satanic glass and the altar and the bloody cross and a dagger, and all this stuff. And they slowly put it together that maybe some devil worship's going on here. They're like, look at a bloody upside down cross. A big, stained glass. Okay, yeah.
Could it be Satan? As Dana Carvey's church lady would say. I mean, if this guy was Pat Robertson, how long would it take him? Would it be like,
Well, I see a stained glass and I see an upside down cross. Well, this must be the work of Satan, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. People don't have their eye sockets in there. I don't see no whites in their eyes. This must be the work of Satan.
Yeah, but these folks are not that smart.
right?
So they're just like, okay. And then Julie notices, like, who is she? Like, is this NCIS or something? It's like, look, here's some wax. It's just like the wax back at the house.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, William freaking Peterson on MCIS here.
Yeah, exactly. And like Tom finds Mark's flannel, and so he opens up the flannel, and Preston is written in big letters in blood on the back of the flannel. No joke. And he's like, huh, maybe this is Mark's shirt here,
Yeah, that's the way he spells his name, I think. I think that's his blood even that they used to spell it in.
And then he is type A positive, and I happen to have a pocket blood test here. And
Because I know that I am O and he's A.
And then his wife says, well, that is a very common blood type. And
A is very
can you be
common.
certain? And Preston's a pretty common name. He's like, you know what? Yeah, maybe. Well, here's my brother's wallet with his driver's license in it in the pocket. Huh.
Put it all together. Maybe that could be Mark.
But they don't have time to put it all together, right? Because
Yeah.
somebody firebombs their car and there's this big explosion, robbing Tom Skerritt of a very juicy scene about like him discovering his brother and this Satanism, and actually maybe some acting going on, Jordan. I don't know. Because we know
Yeah.
Tom Skerritt can do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Instead,
This
we
is
get this
pre-Alien, though. I guess nobody understood that.
yeah. And his poor mustache is like, come on, put it together, Tom Skerritt. God dang it. Let's act. Let's do some acting. Let me go. It's like, little reaction about finding out about this. Very casual about all of this. But yeah, I mean, I blame the direction for this. I don't blame Tom Skerritt is what I'm saying. And I certainly don't blame his mustache.
Don't blame Tom Skerritt's mustache.
Leave his mustache out of this.
Leave it out of this, man. Brian Stun didn't pay his mustache like they were supposed to, by the way.
Yeah.
Every other movie pays Tom Skerritt's mustache like they're supposed to. When you hire Tom Skerritt, you pay his mustache too.
Yeah. And then they run outside and then to see the explosion or their car blowing up. And then someone tries to hit Mark in a station wagon. And Tom has a shotgun here and he shoots the driver. And there's good suspense and paranoia as Tom follows the driver into this abandoned house.
Yeah.
And Skerritt is good in these action scenes of him like running through the house, clearing the house with this gun. He doesn't have much dialogue.
Yeah.
And then he's attacked by a man with no eyes.
Yeah, this guy.
So, they get in this sloppy fight, and then Tom like holds him down, and Julie looks into his eyes, and Julie has these visions. And what are her visions of, Jordan?
Well, before that, by the way, who is the man that attacks him of noteworthy? The actor.
Who is it, Jordan?
Played by Travolta.
John Travolta.
John Travolta plays this man who attacks him without the eyes. But yes, Julie looks into his eyes, and this is funny because also, apparently, she's the one that turned Travolta onto Scientology on this movie, because Joanne Prather was into Scientology at this point, and she turned John Travolta onto Scientology, apparently. He gives her credit on this movie. So, Anthony, had it not been for this movie, John Travolta would have never found Scientology. Isn't that great, Anthony?
Wow.
Isn't that just warm your cockles of your heart, that story?
I don't know if it warms my cockles, but it certainly...
No, the cockles of your heart.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it warmed John Travolta's cockles. I don't think Joanne Prather was warming John Travolta's cockles either. But, I mean, certainly, yeah, I heard that as well. Introduced him to Scientology. They were, I think, both of the same age and sort of glommed on to one another.
Oh, were they dating too, maybe?
No, they were not dating, no.
But yeah, so this movie, yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not talking bad. I'm just saying, hey, good for John Travolta. This is where he discovered Scientology. Hey, good for this movie.
Well, first he tried Satanism, and like Ernest Borgnine got him into Satanism, and then he was like, I don't know about that, and then he tried Scientology.
He did.
Yeah, whatever helps turn your life around, I guess. I don't know.
Ernest Borgnine had this whole basement in his house that was all satanic, and he was like, come on downstairs, John. I gotta show you how we're gonna do some Satanism. Travolta was like, oh, yeah, you think so, Ernest? I don't know. I was going to go to Joanne's Scientology meeting. I don't know. And he was like, no, come on downstairs. We're going to sacrifice a goat and drink its blood. What do you think? Then we're going to put it on the grill, barbecue it, and drink some beer after we praise Satan.
I don't know, she says, no, Xenu's going to read my thetans, Mr. Carter, I mean, Mr. Borgnine.
Yeah, no, Mr. Xenu's going to read my thetans.
Don't touch the hair.
I'm always working really hard on my hair, and he touches my hair.
Anyway, so sweet Ernest Borgnine was not a Satanist.
No, I don't know if he's a Satanist at all. I'm not judging if he was.
But God, this movie has me believing.
Or whatever religions Ernest Borgnine was in, I'm not judging. He sounds like he was a sweet, adorable guy.
Then she's having this psychic vision. Julie's having the psychic vision about a book and a long time ago, and people are looking for it. So then she summons a flashback. So Julie is now just psychic now that the plot needs her to be, right? This is why, because Tom's like, oh, you're having one of your...
Now the movie's taken the turn of like a weekly TV show now. It's like the psychic girl with the satanic powers.
My psychic wife.
Yeah. Tom Skerritt, Joanne Prather, my psychic wife.
It's like she's having one of her psychic moments. Let me listen. She's like, she summons one of the best flashbacks in movies. I love it. I love it. Not a flashback they experienced.
Oh yeah, this is where we get to meet Ernest Borgnine back in the Puritan age or whatever, or Pilgrims or whatever.
This movie both has Ernest Borgnine in satanic robes, multiple different changes of satanic robes.
Yeah.
And also in a freaking Halloween pilgrim, like a school play, Thanksgiving play pilgrim outfit.
This side of that Brady Bunch episode where Greg made the whole family dress up like pilgrims to reenact the whole homecoming, whatever. Yeah, this side of that. Yes, exactly. It's kind of low budget here. Low budget affair.
This side of the Brady Bunch episode where the Satanist captured Cousin Oliver.
Oh, we don't talk about that episode, Anthony.
It's banned. Look
Wasn't
for
that
it,
episode
guys.
banned? Yeah, that was that episode where Greg started sniffing around a cult and he tried to get Peter and Bobby involved. His dad was like, Greg, I don't know about these Satanists. Anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, then we're back in the Pilgrim era, and this is such a fun scene. So basically we have Corbus leading in secret this group of pilgrims worshiping the devil in this home. They're in hiding, or they're in secret having this satanic ceremony or talk. And he says to Martin Fife, he's like, where's your wife here, Martin Fife? And Martin Fife's like, I don't know, shopping? I don't know. He's like, I think your wife betrayed us. And then we see all the villagers outside with torches demanding that Corbus comes out, right? And then what do they do, Jordan?
This is where Corbus is about to get burned. He's about to get burned at the stake. Is that what you're referring to? And Corbus is just like reveling in it. He's not afraid. He's just walking willfully to the stake to be burned. Yeah, this is more like this looks like a horror version of a like classroom kind of thing you'd watch about the way it's shot about Puritans and Satanists.
Like an old educational film, yeah.
Yeah, this is what Puritans thought of Satanists.
What the Salem witch trials were all about, But anyway, and I love it.
But he willfully goes and he willfully gets burned. And this is where we see the origin story of Corbus, basically.
Yeah, there's fire around him, and he's standing on this big pyre, and he's cursing everybody. He's like, like you said, he's not concerned. He's like, think ye to destroy something stronger than life by ending life?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not afraid to die. And then he curses Martin Fife and says,
he's kind of repeating himself too, like, what do you believe in kind of thing. He's kind of saying that again. And so it's kind of echoing like what we saw in the beginning. But this is like a good backstory, at least. At least it gives us a fucking backstory, I will say. But it's creepy kind of still.
Yeah, it is quite creepy. And it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Editing, right? And so then we have he curses Martin Fife and he vows vengeance as the flames are growing higher. He's like to follow Martin Fife and his descendants until he gets his book back, because Martin Fife's wife took his book. We'll find out later what's in the book.
Yeah.
So I didn't see any descendants or kids, but we do see William Shatner in like a Paul Revere wig.
Yeah.
So which is it's crazy to begin with. But I love this scene. But the one thing that makes it weird is because they're all talking in this old-timey King James English, like thous and thys and verilies and forsooth and whatever. And it's good. It's interesting dialogue, but they have to say these thous and thys, which makes it sound stilted and weird and not real.
Somebody on IMDb pointed out the way they use that is inaccurate. the way they use the thine, the thy, and the thou is all wrong. Apparently, the way they were using.
Now, Jordan, that's what they may be accurate, but that's what they're worried about. They're not worried about all the other problems.
They're kind of overdoing it, like the way the time travel episode in Bewitched did it, where they traveled back into Puritan time, where she was the actual witch in Puritan time, and they're all talking in thine, thee, and thine, thee, yeah, but yeah.
It feels like a sitcom episode, right? Anyway, so we go back to the modern era, and we catch up with John and Julie, and the Devil's Reign already in progress. And so
after they looked into John Travolta's blank eyes and saw the flashback scene,
real missing, and then they run away, and they're driving away as Satanists emerge from the buildings. They're driving out of town.
Yeah.
And Tom is too cool about all of this. Once again, I don't know who to blame. Tom Skerritt, the directors, the script. He's just like, anyway, yeah, that was
it's a three-way street in that case. Yes.
Mild inconvenience. So he's like, well, I'm going to go back. And Julie says, you can't go back. But does he listen? No, he doesn't listen to his wife. Ladies, Am I right? Like an 80s, 90s hack comedian. Am I right, ladies? Am I right? All right.
Ladies, why, woman, are you hooking up with this hard-headed man? He ain't listening to you. You know, you're the words of wisdom here, woman, and yet he's ignoring you.
You're his queen. He's not treating you like one. He's ignoring your psychic visions.
Girlfriend, you can do better is all I can say. And you would survive better because you're about to die in this situation.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So she drops him off and drives away. But then there's a Satanist in the back seat, which is, I think, actually their mother. And
hey,
she
don't talk that way about me. Oh no, that sorry, bad joke. That freaked me out too. This part where she just popped up, Ida Lupino's character just popped up in the backseat. That kind of actually made me jump when she's driving away like that. It was like, oh my god.
Yeah, there are some moments in this movie that aren't terrible. I will say that. A lot of them, actually.
The makeup is very effective in this because they don't use like contact lenses. They just make it look like their eyes are completely blotted out, like they don't have any, like the eyeballs were ripped right out of them or melted right out of them, and they just have black.
Flat.
They're empty and flat and black in the center.
Yeah. So she crashes, and then Tom walks back to town like an idiot. Because, Jordan, what do I always say? The movie should have ended here, right?
Yeah.
Him calling the police, not the unhelpful sheriff, but calling like some real police or somebody else, and really getting some help over there. You know what I mean? Just telling anybody about this. Calling the police, Billy Graham, somebody, Pat Robertson to the rescue.
Van Helsing, a Van Helsing type, a poor man's Van Helsing, I don't know. Harry Dean Stanton, I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ? Tell anybody.
Jesus Christ, Harry Dean Stanton together, I don't know. Hey, Jesus, I got a call that we needs help. What do you think?
Yeah. The Monster Squad, the Goonies.
The Monster Squad.
Anybody.
Yeah, the Goonies, all them, the Monster Squad.
Priest from The Exorcist. Tell somebody, Tom Skerritt.
The brothers from Lost Boys. I mean, anybody.
And so the movie should end, but no, he goes back to town. And then we see the Satanist dragging a shirtless William Shatner to the desert, to an outside altar.
Yeah, who knew he was even still alive at this point? I thought he was already gone after all that in the beginning.
This movie's like, you think this person's dead? They're not. And you're like, oh, okay.
No. He's still alive.
He's still alive. So Tom infiltrates the coven wearing Satanist robes. And for no reason, I was remember that movie Dragnet? Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd, and they infiltrated, or that sort of a remake.
That's right, because they did tackle a satanic cult in the Dragnet 1987 Tom Hanks, Dan Aykroyd movie. Shit, man.
We should have watched that movie. Why weren't we watching that movie? Anyway, sorry.
Is it a Halloween movie, though, Anthony?
Why is this a Halloween movie? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I don't know. I don't know why we picked this movie. It was so random out of the hat. We used that computer program app to pick us the most random. We said Halloween, cults, devil, Satanism, and this movie came up. And then we said John Travolta even, and that was what came up.
AI's picking our movies now.
AI's picking our movies for our 50th episode. We thought it was cute, but this is what we got.
So anyway, Corbus summons the Ram of the Sun in this cool little outside altar. Great place to have a concert. Red Rock's there. And then what happens then, Jordan?
Wait. Where are we? I'm sorry again.
Okay. They have Mark on this outside altar with all these rocks in this natural rock amphitheater, and Tom is infiltrating with the coven, wearing Satanist robes.
Oh, this scene. Yeah, okay. And then he's there hiding amongst them.
Corbus summons the devil into his body because he's like,
yes.
Yeah.
He summons the devil into his body, and then
because in order to perform the transmutation of souls, Corbus wants to draw Martin Fife's spirit into Mark Preston's body. And in order to do so, he summons the devil into his body. And then what happens, Jordan?
is this where Ernest Borgnine morphs into like this goat-looking version of Ernest Borgnine, makeup-wise, like the satanic goat version of Ernest Borgnine?
Yeah.
And shit.
Yeah.
He's just like, why did you call me? Why did you hail me?
Yeah.
Is everything ready for the sacrifice?
I was watching Home Flippers. What is going on here?
I was in the middle of ordering something off Temu. What the hell happened? By the way, Temu, free plug, Jesus Christ.
I was shopping for Spanx on eBay. Anyway, so the devil comes.
Is the sacrifice ready? Is the lighting right? Is the candles right? Is everything kosher?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what the devil wants to know. You better have your shit in order whenever the devil
funny
comes.
how
It's like he takes a white glove. He's like, this altar's a little dirty.
Yeah. But this really drives the point home that Corbus is not in charge of everything. It's Satan.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and Jordan, it's not a cool transformation. We don't get like a American Werewolf in London.
That's before all that, though. They didn't know how to do it. They did it like they do it Wizard of Oz style here, Anthony. They put a big explosion right in front of them.
It's kind of cheap, don't you think, Jordan? I don't know.
I mean, what do you want, Anthony? It's 1975, okay?
No budget for this
want?
transformation sequence? Come on, Jordan.
We didn't know about morphing back then. We didn't know about that computer stuff back then, Anthony. What do you want, Anthony? I mean, come on.
They did it. Look, the original Wolfman, they've been doing it for 100 years, man. Like a film. You can do a transformation sequence in any number of ways. But they didn't here. They cheaped it out.
I agree. It could have been more well thought out. Obviously, they didn't put a lot of thought into it.
Because it's kind of cheesy.
Like if you'd given it to like somebody like Phil Tippett or an effects guy back then, like the Equinox people, they would have done something more with it probably.
Yeah, they did a transformation in Equinox badly, and that was a bunch of kids doing it in their garage, like literally high school kids doing it in their garage. Looks better than this.
No, you're right. It could have been done better than just like they do it like Wizard of Oz style, like where they just it's literally like
My pretties.
Yeah. But it's jarring though. How is this makeup, Jordan? What do you think about Borgnine's goat face makeup?
I think it looks great. Yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot. Is this John Chambers? I forgot.
No, this is
Oh, it's Berman. Okay, it's Berman Studios. Okay, yeah, of course. But no, I know the makeup.
Tom Berman and his brother Ellis Berman.
Tom Berman, who started under John Chambers from Planet of the Apes, actually.
So, what do you think about the makeup? Ernest Borgnine's makeup.
Oh, I think it's effective. Although, you for a moment you feel like you're in Island of Dr. Moreau again from that same time period.
Yeah.
Ooh,
dis.
Done by the Berman mentor John Chambers, but
yeah. Squib's fired. Okay, so anyway, the congregation, so Corbus is the devil, and he's like, do you have all the candles ready? Is everything good? Yes. Okay, everyone's good. We're all right to go along with this. The congregation asked the devil to deliver a soul, and then they drag Mark out to be host. And then Corbus takes a wax figure and he burns it over the fire to purify Mark with fire, like a voodoo doll.
Oh, yeah, and he's dripping that stuff in his eyes, which we find out how everybody's eyes gets blacked out.
Yeah, that's the purification by water. And Shatner, as all this is happening, he's screaming, and I think this is just great acting. Great acting. And then the water those are the waters of forgetfulness. You forget who you were, right? And I remember the waters of forgetfulness from the Never-Ending Story. He calls the spirit of Martin Fife, and then what happens?
This is where
he pours the water in his eyes, and then what do we see?
Oh, his eyes start to go blank completely, and they bleed out, and then we see how his eyes get blackened out, basically, and everybody's eyes get blackened out, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is it's creepy, it's effective. Well, the mask in Halloween came from a casting, apparently, that was from this movie.
Oh, wow.
It was from the William Shatner cast that Berman Studios had used, Tom Berman, who started under John Chambers, which this makeup looks kind of John Chambers-esque a bit.
That's fascinating. Who got the license to do that? Did Shatner get any money off that mask? I mean, did Tom Berman get any money off that mask?
I don't know, I don't think anybody even mentioned that. But I think because they painted it white, nobody recognized it.
Yeah. But that's crazy. And I mean, if it weren't for this movie, then we might not have Halloween in some aspect.
A Mike Myers mask. Yeah. I didn't know that it came from the same. I read that today, actually. I looked that up today before we did this, just to find out tidbits about that, at least.
Yeah. I didn't know that at all, because that's the first thing I thought is seeing his face. I was like, because clearly there's like sort of a mask. Part of it is his real face, and then his eyes are like prosthetics. And I was thinking exactly that same thing. I was like, man, that looks like the Mike Myers mask. And now it makes sense. Wow.
Yeah.
Way to go, me.
I thought it was just, everybody's always said all along, though, that it's just like, it's from a Captain Kirk mask, but I didn't know it came from William Shatner casting, which came from this movie. Yes.
So strange. Recycle, reuse, all that. Well, great.
Yeah.
Fun fact. This fun fact was brought to you by Devil's Rain Lager. When in Arizona, try Devil's Rain.
I like the Devil's Rain Blood Orange Lager. It's really good.
Try our Halloween Oktoberfest brew, pumpkin spice ale.
It'll make you go blind.
You'll forget who you are. All right. So anyway, Tom, remember Tom?
Oh, yeah. Tom played by Tom Skerritt. Yes.
Tom played by Tom. Tom Preston played by Tom Skerritt.
Tom Preston played by Tom Skerritt in this movie, Devil's Rain.
So Tom is outed by Satanists, right? John Travolta.
He's outed by a Satanist, yes. Tom Preston. Yeah, played by John Travolta. Yeah, he's like, John Travolta's up and around. His character's up and around. We thought he was knocked the fuck out, but he was not. No.
Yeah, he wasn't. He's still alive. He's still kicking. He's like, hey, this guy's what does he say? He's
blasphemer.
This guy's an infidel. Don't touch the hair, And so he says,
he goes, blasphemer. Don't touch the hair.
So, yeah, there you go.
But yeah, he's got his eyes all blacked out too and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's creepy. But yeah, that's the thing. We thought he was knocked out, but he's up and around.
No.
And he's there to point him out.
Tom shoots everyone else in this movie, but then Tom sees his mother in her eyes and he freaks out. Finally, we get a reaction out of Tom, and then he shoots another Satanist.
His reaction is genuine in that moment, I gotta say, where he's just like, which is, that would be anybody's reaction in the audience if they saw their own parent, like, who had been.
Yeah, finally he does some acting, but then he stops and he just walks back into the town. Like, what is his plan here, Jordan? He's going to shoot a Satanist and just run back to the Satanist town and just hang out? Like, what is going through his mind? Like, get the hell out of there, dude.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's just right back to the Eddie Murphy joke about, like, why don't white people, like when the ghost tells them to leave the house, why aren't they out of there already?
Oh, yeah.
I agree. It's the same thing. Like, this is like telling you, Tom, get out of here.
This is a movie of very, like, Scream proportion, like, white people decisions in a horror movie. It's certainly, I'm going to go back to the town where the Satanists live. They're not going to find me here. So anyway, now he needs to tell the sheriff or something, anything, but no, because he's an idiot, he runs back into the house because we got to use that set again, Jordan. We're going to milk it. We got it.
We paid for it. We got to use the set. 2 days, we paid for it. $100 a day.
10,000 pesos a day. We paid for this set.
Yes.
And he's fighting these Satanists off, which is okay, but we've already seen that. But then he finally gets away. And then Dr. Richards is still somehow in this movie, Jordan.
Oh, played by Eddie Albert. Eddie Albert's still in this movie?
He's still in this movie. Remember him from like the first 20 minutes?
Eddie Albert, who had a son named Eddie Albert Jr., Eddie Albert from Green Acres. Yes, list goes on.
And so anyway, he tells Tom to tell the sheriff, and Tom is like, no, the sheriff is too busy with flood victims and won't believe all this nonsense about eyeless people and wax images. And then Dr. Richards has the book, Corbus's book, that they had in the floorboards from earlier in the movie, and shows Tom the book, and he's read this, and he's like, hey, it's over 300 years old. It tells him the story of Corbus and his brood of devil worshippers, and how this book is Corbus's registry of people who sold their souls to the devil so he could give it to the devil.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good. Not good.
Then there's a letter from Martin Fife's wife to her descendants in the book, like kind of like a family Bible or something. And it's a command to protect the book from daughter to daughter, protect the book from Corbus, and to keep him from delivering his souls to the devil. And it mentions the devil's reign. And then Eddie Albert sounds like he's improvising his lines in this. Like, oh, this devil's reign. I mean, he just like...
Why would it make you think that? Yeah.
This scene seems so improvised because the acting is so bad.
That's where the title comes into play. The Devil's Reign. The Devil's Reign on everything.
We've had a title. I don't even remember the first time they mentioned Devil's Reign. We've had a title the whole time. In fact, drink every time. Actually, don't drink every time they said Devil's Reign. This is an anti-drinking game. A caution: do not drink every time they say Devil's Reign. You will not make it halfway through this movie.
I'm surprised that, this was not an 80s metal song. I'm surprised like Kiss never did a song called The Devil's Reign.
I bet
when they came back in the 80s, or Motley Crue did a song called Devil's Reign.
Or Glenn Danzig. I'm sure Glenn Danzig had a song about Devil's Reign, or Misfits or somebody.
Yeah. I can picture that already. Oh yeah, like the Devil's Reign.
Yeah. Borgnine in a gold mask.
Yeah. I'm gonna sacrifice. There's this big gold, looks like Ernest Borgnine.
Only Tom Skerritt's mustache can save us.
Yeah. I feel the devil's reign.
Oh, the devil's reign. Oh, the devil's reign.
It's got all the elements even for a metal video. This
Yeah.
movie preceded 80s metal, maybe. Did it not? I don't know.
Maybe you're right. I bet somebody was influenced by this. I'm not aware of that. But yeah, good on the folks who enjoyed this movie and took influence from it.
I mean, this movie makes me want to worship the black arts.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, Anthony, it does. In fact, my wife and kid are in the next room right now. There's candles ready. And we have my father-in-law. He's got this thing drawn on his chest right now. Yeah, he's about to go, I guess.
Well, I won't keep you from that, Jordan, because we're almost at the end of the movie. Tell your father-in-law to hold on.
It's the devil's reign.
And so anyway, Eddie Albert is improvising his lines, and he's also very concerned about this. He's like, oh, there's this devil's reign, and Corbus, and oh yeah, there's all these souls here vowed and pledged to the devil, written in blood. What do you think about that, Tom? And Tom is he's upset finally.
Yeah.
So then he asks a very important question. Why here? Why now? Why did Corbus wait until now? And Jordan, what does he say? What does Eddie Albert say? Or Dr. Richard say?
I forgot what he said on this part. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you forgot because it wasn't important. He says, who knows? We'll never find out. Anyway, I love this plot device. Whenever a screenwriter writes themselves in a corner, all they need is Eddie Albert to come in and someone say, well, why is this happening now? Who knows? It's not important. You know what I mean? Whatever. Anyway.
That's like what the pitch meeting guy says in things now. Yeah, like, who knows?
Exactly.
Not important. I'm going to need you to climb all the way off my back about why this started.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous, and I love it. It's
Why
just
now? I don't know.
The movie itself is just throwing its hands up. Like, I don't even know what's going on at this point. Whatever.
That's why I kept getting thrown off. Okay, it wasn't just me with this movie. I know my attention span is weird with movies lately sometimes, but goddamn, this movie is really making me feel it. Even though at the same time, I was scared.
Yeah. And you're scared because Dr. Richard sees Mark Preston, William Shatner's name, appear in the book. It says it wasn't in there this morning.
Oh, that's right.
Spooky.
Whoa. Coincidence. No.
And then Tom remembers that he has a wife, and he hasn't seen her in a couple of days.
Oh, yeah. Her name is Julie, right?
Julie.
I remembered that. God, Tom. Jeez.
And then this is a problem because it's like the next night we see that Corbus and the Satanists have Julie on the same altar that they had Mark on.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And he's talking. He's like, "Oh, once you experience the pleasure, you're gonna forget all about whatever." And I'm like, this is. Wait a second.
Yeah. This is where he tells her she's going to be Hauser's babe, and they're going to reprogram her, right, for Total Recall.
Yeah.
Ronnie Cox at his best. Oh wait, no, we're not talking about Total Recall. I'm sorry. We're talking about The Devil's Reign still, 1975, already in progress. Sorry.
Yeah, he's talking about all the pleasure she's going to experience.
All the pleasures. Ernie Borgnine is telling Julie, Tom Preston's wife, all the pleasures she's going to experience.
And then I was thinking, like,
becoming a Satanist, all the pleasures.
Was this Ernest Borgnine talking about masturbation? Because wasn't it? He's sadly passed, but I think he said as a joke in an interview that people were like, "What's the secret to your longevity?" Because he was like 95 or something. He's like, "I whack off every day."
Really?
Like, yeah.
Did he say that?
Oh yeah, totally. Well, he didn't say whack.
Yeah.
He said masturbation, and then Wilford Brimley came in and said, "Masturbate and masturbate often."
Good for your prostate. Check it often.
No, he said that, but I don't know. So Tom and Dr. Richards go into the church, and when they go in, it's during the day. But we just saw the scene where Julie was on the altar. Was that the night before? I don't know. There's some editing issues here.
Yeah.
Night and day, which takes me out of the movie.
It's Day. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm totally lost in the sequence of events here because somebody will walk in a building and it's clearly noon, and they'll walk out and it's like clearly midnight. And you're like, what is going on?
Well, I don't know. It happens sometime, Anthony. That's all that matters.
It's a hell of a party. It's whatever happens in there.
Day, night, doesn't matter. Sometimes it happens sometime, Anthony. I was just trying to answer like Eddie Albert did in that scene.
Yeah. He's like, who knows? It's not important.
Day, night, day for night. It's not important.
Not important. Why are you asking all these questions? Anyway, I'm totally confused when things are happening, but they go into the church. It's day. They go into the church and they hear noises coming from the floor in the church, and they pull up a trap door. And Jordan, what do they find?
Oh, is this where they find the devil's reign inside the object? Is this?
Yes. They find a giant Fabergé egg with a goat head on it and tiny moaning pilgrims inside in the rain, like a little TV in its belly.
That's right. It's just like you can just hear it completely, right? Oh, sorry. That was the wrong sound effect.
Oh, God. And they're mildly concerned about this. They are not weirded out at all by the fact that there's this giant satanic goat egg with tiny pilgrims inside it. Like a tiny it's on the Pilgrim channel, the Rainy Pilgrim channel.
This is the most fucked up work of art ever, too, and you can hear the people just coming out of there and everything. You can hear all that, like, they're all screaming souls. But yeah, and you look in there and you see them. And you know what I realized during this, every time you see this effect, I think they used one of those round TVs from back then in the 70s. And they just attached a video to it.
That's what I was wondering, because it looked too good to be rotoscoping, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. I thought it was projected onto something, but then when they were picking it up, I'm like, oh, wait, no, wait. Yeah, that could be done back then. Yeah, that could be. And I thought, yeah, that's probably what happened. They probably built the prop over the round spherical TV that they had back then in the 70s. And then, yeah, they probably plugged a video into it, honestly. They had video in that time period. That's what I'm guessing. What a trippy effect, though, that was. I did not remember that from originally watching this movie. I thought I'd seen this movie enough times, but apparently I haven't.
There's some times when the effects are startlingly good. I like the goat makeup. I like this prop. You're like, it looks real. And you're like, whoa, for what? I mean, it's ridiculous.
For 1975, you sit there and go, how did they do that? Oh, my God. That's amazing. Yeah. Like, that's creepy.
This is a low-budget movie, and it's also...
You could do that easily now with a flat screen thing, but back then in 1975, that took some thought to do that.
Yeah, and it's not like they painted it green and then like rotoscoped another image onto it, which you would see because as they move it, they're moving it around, and you would clearly see that.
Yeah. At first, I thought that when it was just sitting there, I just thought, oh, they just,
Yeah, and then Dr. Richards is messing with the goat horn antennas, and he's like trying to get the USC game. He's like, I think, was this thing get a...
I want that college game.
Yes, Tom Skerritt move it. He's like, turn it a little bit. I almost got a picture. Almost got it,
He attaches tinfoil to it later on. Rabbit ears.
And so, mildly concerned about this devil goat egg. And Dr. Richards says, oh, well, it's full of Corbus's damned souls, hey.
Where the devil reigns, yes.
Yeah. Why does Corbin need a list? If he has someone's souls trapped in this goat egg, why does he need a list and like people's signatures? Is this like a phone plan contract? Like Corbis doesn't want to break the law here, or what? Like I don't understand why he needs both these things.
Was it his Rolodex? Was it his naughty or nice book?
Corbis is coming to town.
He knows when you've been bad or good. So for goodness sake, Corbis! Corbis!
The devil's reign is coming to town.
Yay!
Anyway, yeah, I don't understand why he needs all the signatures and the souls and the thing. And I mean, the devil is a stickler for compliance.
But they're signed in blood, Anthony. I mean, we learned all about from Phantom of the Paradise, a blood contract, how much that means, how much power that has.
We could have a law school class in satanic contracts right now at this point. Yeah.
And Devil's Advocate. Yeah, we learned about that. I know shit, man. Is there like a section of any of the screenwriting books now that talk about satanic contracts in movies and logic behind them?
Chapter 12, Faustian bargains. Number 1.
Yeah.
Always read the fine print. The devil never does. He never reads the fine print in his own contracts.
Yeah.
He just uses boilerplate.
Chapter 2 must be done in blood. Let me explain why. Blood is something that has genes in there and DNA and genetics, okay? That's somebody's binding. Blood is very binding. Let me put it that way, okay? Don't ask any more questions.
Yeah, Eddie Albert's like, who knows? It's not important. But anyway, so then the sheriff appears. Thank God, Jordan, the sheriff appears.
Oh.
But he's got blackened eyes too.
Oh, he's one of them. God.
Yeah, he's one of them.
Damn you, Corbus! Corbus!
And then they throw him in the hole where they pull the egg out of, and he explodes into flame for some reason. And then the Satanists are coming.
He was extra flammable, waxy.
He was extra flammable. That mustache, boy. Watch out. Anyway, so Tom and Dr. Richards run up to the balcony of the church, and they take the goat egg with them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's night now, by the way. It was day a minute ago. It's night now.
Oh, that's right.
They were trying to get the USC game for like 5 hours.
It doesn't matter. I don't need to make a check.
Anyway, and then they're hiding in the church balcony, but Tom stupidly, or Eddie Albert or one of them, Dr. Richards stupidly left the book by the hellhole. The Corbus's freaking book.
The most important MacGuffin in the movie, people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if Gideon and Jones had just left the Ark of the Covenant, right?
Yeah.
Right at a TGI Fridays where he knows the Nazis are always having, like, a happy hour. It's completely stupid.
That did happen. He drove out of the desert, and he parked that van, and he parked it at TGI Fridays to get a drink and that steak special.
And just left it. Just left the truck there.
Truck? What truck?
Nazis are, yeah, what is this? Oh, look at that. What a coincidence, Dr. Jones. I see what you have left in the parking lot is now mine. Once again.
I'm sorry. This podcast has gone off the rails, Dr. Jones.
Oh, sorry. Back to this movie, The Devil's Reign, already in progress. Once again, they stupidly left the book by the hellhole. The only thing they were supposed to do in this damn movie, Jordan, cut. Can we get some other guys? Can we get rid of Eddie Albert and Tom Skerritt, 2 actors I like, and just get some other dudes in here?
They're more like the sidekicks, aren't they, I guess?
Exactly.
Damn you, movie characters. You act more like the sidekicks instead of the heroes. What kind of heroes are you? Even in a 70s movie. But, I guess everybody in a 70s movie is doomed, basically, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They might be doomed anyway, so.
Yeah, because the Satanist discovers the book. It's John Travolta, right? Discovers the book. And
oh, that's right.
He takes it to Corbus, who's just happy that he's in a movie full of idiots.
Here you go, Corbus. Here's the book. Right here.
Yeah. And so Corbus is just pleased as punch. Just like, oh my God, I don't have to do anything. I just have to stand here. And they will defeat themselves pretty much, these people.
That's right. It's Christmas morning for Corbus.
And Corbus's heart grew 3 sizes that day. Anyway, so the Satanists bring Julie tied to a cross into the church. And then Tom, again, have I mentioned that Tom is an idiot, Jordan? I don't know if I've mentioned that, but he sees Julie on this cross, jumps down off the balcony into just a throng of Satanists to free her. And guess what? That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Shockingly, that doesn't work. They subdue him.
Yeah, it doesn't work. People in cloaks in movies are always ready to descend on you anyway. So
Yeah.
always like a football game where they just jump all over you. That kind of
They
style.
just converge on you because, Satanists aren't dummies. I mean, they're not zombies. They're not going to let you run away.
Yeah.
Except for when they do. But
they're not exactly slow moving.
These are shambling Satanists. These aren't like running, frothing at the mouth Satanists, 28 Satanists later Satanists, So then Dr. Richards comes down right among the Satanists, right in the middle of them with holding the devil's reign above his head. And he's like, I'm going to smash this devil's reign here.
Oh, yeah.
It's the source of all his power.
And that's where you can really see this effect once again, where you see the people inside this vessel.
Yeah, and this is like another thing that happens in movies too. This happened in, I hate to bring up another movie we talked about, The Fearless Vampire Killers, where the bad guy's like, I'm a fan of your work. And here it's like Corbus like, oh, you're Dr. Richards. You're the crackpot scientist who believes in the ESP.
Yeah.
In my spare time when I'm not a time-traveling pilgrim, goat-headed Satan worshiper, I follow your work somehow.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, boy, thank you. Which of my publications do you like the most? Anyway, they have this unnecessary conversation.
Yeah.
Dr. Richards wants to make a deal with the devil's helper here. He's like, you let Tom and Julie go, or I'm going to destroy the devil's reign.
Oh, yeah,
He gets subdued by the Satanist, A, because he's an old man, and B, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Mark takes the vessel. He takes the devil's reign. Mark, who's possessed now. Corbus commands him to take it, and Dr. Richards calls to him. He says, hey, Mark, fight against this possession. He doesn't have control over your soul, basically. And we see Mark conflicted with the devil's reign, and Corbus is like, hey, you're going to be in limbo if you do this. Don't do that. I mean, you made a promise to Satan, and, a pinky swear to Satan, and you can't break a pinky promise. Can't do it.
This whole movie was about a pinky swear gone wrong.
It's by an old pilgrim pinky swear to the devil gone wrong.
That was the pitch to the investors.
That was the elevator pitch. I got this movie. Right? So what does Mark do? He's got the devil's reign. What happens then?
Oh, is this when he takes it and throws it down and it blows up?
Exactly. That's exactly what happens. Yes.
And I wondered, oh my God, did they destroy that actual prop? Because I hope they kept that prop somewhere. Anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, he smashes the giant devil goat egg and
it sets everything off. The shit hits the fan, and I forgot what happens at this point. My God,
the ceiling caves in.
Right, the ceiling caves in.
And the devil's reign begins to fall into the church.
Oh, that's right.
And surely you remember this scene, Jordan. What?
This is where everybody starts to melt.
This is where everybody starts to melt. He casually says, is this where everyone starts to melt? Yes, this is exactly what happens. Everyone begins to melt. Believe it or not. You cannot explain this movie to people. You're like, oh yeah, is that when they begin to melt? Yes, everyone becomes
melting. Corbus's people.
Like,
it's a melting montage of people melting.
A melting montage. Yeah, Corbus transforms into the devil again, and he clamps down on Tom's head over the hell pit, but then the devil's reign starts falling on him, and he begins to melt too, like everyone else.
It's a lot of water in every scene. It's actually water rain as well, not just the devil's raining.
Yeah, and when we say melting, what do we mean?
It
People
looks
are melting.
Like everybody's faces are made of gravy. I don't know. I can tell how they did the effect, and it's great, but it looks like they put like a bunch of hoses on everybody and put gravy in the hoses and, squirted gravy on people's faces.
Actually, Jordan, it's methyl cellulose, which is derived from wood. And what they did is they made the mask of it, and then whenever you add water, it begins to fall apart. And yes, they did take tubes. They ironed some plastic medical tubes flat, and then they ran all sorts of like baking soda and water, through these tubes, forcing a chemical reaction. And then they also there's little firework things that burn, and so they didn't have to have actual fire. That they just kind of turn into snakes.
Plus, they were blowing smoke, I think, through tubes on the actors, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
Probably could have been cigarette smoke, probably.
Probably getting some secondhand smoke off the tube effects.
Cigar smoke, maybe. That's the quickest way to do that. I've done that I worked on a movie where I did that for like effect, where you just blow smoke out of a tube, Quickest, cheapest $5 effect. I'm sorry.
But is it effective, Jordan? Like these melting effects?
But it looks really cool, though, in a way. But yeah, you can tell, it looks like they probably put gelatin on people's faces.
Yeah.
And because
and
of the water reacting
colors.
to it,
It's like green and whatever. And I heard there's the scene when people start to deflate and melt, and they had like sex dolls, like plastic sex dolls covered in makeup, and then they would deflate them.
Really?
As everything started to melt and ooze and turn into a mess.
Yeah, because there's that one part of where Ida Lupino's going down, and you see her face gets sucked into a. And this is all before Raiders of the Lost Ark, by the way, people.
Yeah,
to its credit at least. But yeah, I love the melting sequence. So nevertheless, though, but people might think this looks cheesy if you look at it nowadays, of course. But it still looks. The sequence looks pretty cool because it's not CG. That's why I like it, I guess, because it's not CG.
And it's done in real time. I think that they didn't use any effects where they had to like animate.
There's not even any animation, exactly. It's done in real time with pumps and chemicals. It's done the chemistry approach.
And once again, this slaps you in the face like Corbus turning into the goat. You're like, what? You're about to fall asleep because you're like, what's going on here? And then this craziness happens. Mm-hmm. It's effed up and it sticks with you. It's just disturbing and awesome, I guess. It's the effect at the end of the movie, literally.
I went back and played Metallica Master of Puppets over this, and it was really awesome.
What is that old 80s song? Like, I melt for you.
Oh, yeah. I'd stop the world and melt with you.
I've seen the difference, and it's cheesy makeup all the time.
Oh, yeah, that song would go well over the sequence for sure, yeah. I'd stop the world and melt with you. This happens every time Corbus's curse doesn't work. Yeah. Now we have to pay for that song.
Not we were singing out of tune enough that no, we don't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. It's effective. It's something.
It works though, yeah. I mean, it's a hell of a climax.
Yeah. Corbus falls in the pit and then the church explodes and somehow Tom, Julie, and Dr. Richards aren't hurt and they run outside in the rain and it's like 15 minutes of people melting, guys. This isn't just like, oh, people melting. It's like everybody melts, including Corbus. I love the Corbus makeup of his face melting.
It's at least 10 to 15
hanging
minutes.
Down
yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Corbus, yeah. When he melts. Oh, my God, yeah. And his eyeballs are falling out. He's trying to choke Tom at the same time as Tom slowly escaping.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I almost wondered if Ernest Borgnine did that himself even.
I was wondering that too. I bet it was a stunt double. But
that's what I think.
In my heart,
I think it was a stunt double with a mask on there. But
yeah.
In my heart, I think Ernest Borgnine would be tough enough to do that because I heard he didn't complain about things like that.
No, I think he was apparently there were some weird happenings on the set, some accidents and things. And later on, Borgnine wished he hadn't done the movie because I don't know if he was a religious man, but he was like...
No, I know what it was. It's because he didn't get paid for it.
Oh, yeah?
I read that, yeah. Because it was financed by the Mafia, Bryanston. They released Deep Throat. You can see a whole movie about it, or two. Deep Throat, yeah. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that's what you hear about them on Texas Chainsaw Massacre also, is that nobody got paid properly. Bryanston pocketed a lot of the money.
Yeah.
And they also put the movie out in porn theaters even, I imagine, because that's the way Brian...
Yeah.
But Bryanston probably did... Bryanston did do a national release. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Now, Jordan, you didn't hear this from me, all right? You didn't hear this from me, but there might have been some of those individuals of an organized nature involved in this movie, you know what I mean? To, maybe take something that's dirty and maybe make it into something that's clean, you know what I mean? And they might have allegedly, I don't know, you didn't hear this from me, maybe have been a part of the Colombo crime family. Maybe you heard of them. I'm not talking about Robert Falk either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I heard you got somebody you love sitting next to you. It would be horrible if something were to happen to them, wouldn't it? Yeah? No? We won't talk about where the money came from for this movie.
It would be terrible if, I don't know, maybe something like a devil's rain came down and maybe, melted a face or something. I don't know. Things happen. Things happen all the time,
Yeah, devil's rain was a mafia term for the mafia guys behind Bryanston. That's where they got the title from. That's probably why Ernie Borgnine said he regretted doing the movie. Probably because it just was a waste of his fucking time because he didn't get paid for it.
Yeah.
That's probably why, I imagine. Not religious reasons, I doubt it.
Yeah, he could have been doing the Poseidon Adventure 2 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he could have got a bigger check on a bigger studio picture.
Exactly. But yeah, Bryanston Distributors, like you said, yeah, interesting enough. They released Deep Throat, which was a huge hit. A porn movie that kind of brought porn into the mainstream.
It was almost mainstream, yeah, because it was endorsed by Jack Nicholson and Warren Beatty at the time as being like hey, this isn't really porn. This is cinema. This is a new wave of cinema. Like
Yeah.
it was like being celebrated at the time.
Yeah, they also distributed A Party at Kitty and Studs. You know what that movie is, Jordan?
Whoa, what movie's that? What?
You know the movie that Stallone didn't do that was like maybe not a porno movie.
That's a movie that goes by many different titles, maybe. You may know it as The Italian Stallion. Or A Man Called Rainbow.
And they also did Dark Star.
Oh, that's right. They did release. Dark Star was Dan O'Bannon and John Carpenter directed.
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw Massacres, you mentioned Return of the Dragon. Yeah, interesting there. Coonskin, anyways, so you do maybe had a little bit of money behind this that was maybe, I don't know. I'm not saying nothing, but yeah, that's very interesting.
Bryanston, for all the mafia shit behind him, sure know how to get movies out there. Anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, back to The Devil's Reign where everyone's melting. Like,
people are melting.
Wicked Witch of the West melting, right? And so
melting.
This is all very freaky, and you cannot unsee all of this. And somebody was clearly high when they thought this ending up.
It was like, what if like they were like melting? The faces were melting at the end. That's your ending, man. That's your ending. Think about it, okay? And it's raining. You got your devil's rain, and the faces are melting.
Hey, man, why are they melting? Why are they melting?
I don't know. If I knew, but the movie knows.
Why doesn't the doctor say at some point, who knows, it's not important, and then we don't have to explain anything, like how the devil's rain works?
That is so perfect. I wonder why nobody's ever thought of that before. Wow.
No, like, don't try to make sense of the devil's reign and the rules in this movie. There are none. But anyway, so the church finally explodes, and then Julie calls her husband Tom to her to hug him. And what happens, Jordan?
Oh my God. I did not remember this either, but they hug. It's so sweet. And then he's hugging Ernest Borgnine. He's hugging Corbus. No. Corbus, no. Corbus, goddamn you. And then it ends. Yeah. Bam, credits.
We see Julie inside the devil's reign. And so as the camera pans into her face over the credits, and damn it, happy Halloween, Jordan, we get a nihilistic 70s movie ending.
Yeah.
Just nobody's happy. All this was for nothing. Evil wins in the end.
We get just an ending with nothing but, all this shit over it, basically, which is where I got this from, was the ending credits. End scene. Roll credits. Yes. We have a movie.
So did this movie, Devil's Reign, some money at the box office? So they filmed in Mexico, right?
Durango, Mexico, yes.
A cheap movie, but on a budget of $1.5 million, they made unsubstantiated 1.8.
That was, I guess, domestic and international. Damn.
I don't know. It's very difficult to find these numbers. I don't trust these numbers, but I don't think it was a big money maker.
So the devil did not reign at the box office.
It did not.
In this case.
The devil was in the details. So, Jordan, I mean, what do you think works? What do you think doesn't work? Let's start with what works. What works in this movie?
I think all the beginning parts work of this movie. They're very effective, but then when they start changing gears, like with the psychic shit right after that scene, man, does it just switch gears on the movie all of a sudden. It just kind of takes you out of the movie for a second. Maybe that's the problem with the movie. But other than that, now this was not as bad as last year's movie we reviewed for this season. The third movie in the Howling series, Howling 3. But no, it wasn't that bad. It was actually more effective in some sense.
It was actually kind of scary. Yeah, Howling 3 wasn't scary at all.
No, I was actually scared during this movie. Absolutely.
It does have a very dreamlike, I mean, like not quite nightmarish, but kind of like one of those unsettling dreams where everything's just askew, just a little bit off.
Yeah.
And it's disjunctive. So some of these things kind of work for the movie in creating the atmosphere and creating the tone.
Yeah.
It's like if you took The Exorcist and Phantasm and you threw it into a sort of a blender with a much shittier movie. You know what I mean? And that paranoia is there. But I think they showed the Satanists too much. Instead of discovering a mystery.
Yeah, you got a good point there. Totally.
And I love Borgnine. I love him as the Satanist leader. And I like every moment he's on the screen. And I love the stupid pilgrim shit.
Yeah.
You know, but we should have seen the pilgrim shit before we saw the Satanist shit.
Yeah.
I think, or something.
As a flashback scene in the beginning to give us an outline of things, and then bam, yeah. But yeah, I agree. Like, they should have built up to it in a King Kong kind of way, so to speak, or a Jurassic Park kind of way, where you built up to going through the gate kind of thing, and you get through the gate and bam, there they are. But they don't, you're right, they don't build up enough to it. They're effectively creepy and all that, more so than like the Omega Man as a reference, you know, but
yeah, I really think this could be a different movie in the editing.
Yeah.
I think the editing killed this. And obviously the plot, obviously there's problems with the plot and the direction. Like I said, the way Shatner's directed, and he has some great scenes where he's screaming, but he seems misdirected at times. Like we don't really know who these people are. We don't know who Mark is and who Tom is. And that's more the writing than the directing. But we don't really feel for them because we don't have but 1 second to get to know who they are, that we know nothing about them.
Yeah.
And then they're in this whole thing. So you really kind of were intrigued by Borgnine, who's supporting this whole movie and just dominating. And he's far more interesting. The problem is you have a villain who is far more interesting than the heroes.
Right.
And that throws it off kilter.
I mean, Roger Corman always said that villains should be more interesting than, and some movies that works, but this movie, it doesn't work as well.
Yeah, overpoweringly so. You're rooting for the villain here because, and this is Shatner and Tom Skerritt, both great actors.
But like Ernest Borgnine's character is clearly just a monster here. So it's like, yeah, they're not making it like a monster movie, like quite, I don't know. Yeah, like.
He's too charismatic. I wonder if even Borgnine was miscast. I hate to say that because he's fantastic in this role. Honest to God, he is great.
Yeah, he owns it. I mean, he holds his own on screen with Captain Kirk, like
overshadows him
like a badass, you know.
Yeah, if I didn't know who Ernest Borgnine was and I hadn't seen him in other movies, I would just assume that he was a Satanist.
Yeah,
I would be like, he is so good in this role. He's a Satanist priest. Clearly, they just got this guy, and that was his day job.
I'm afraid of him in this movie. Watching him like overpower Shatner. Because Captain Kirk is my favorite captain, to be a nerd. But watching him overpower Captain Kirk in this movie is frightening. He is frightening to me in this, no joke.
Because Mark is weak, and we don't really feel anything for him when he gets possessed.
Yeah.
He's like, you feel something like that sucks. And then
all he has is his gun, obviously. That's his faith.
Yeah. His idiot brother, Tom, comes in, and he's even less endearing or interesting than Mark was.
Yeah.
Mark at least was going to, and so it's just underwritten, stupid, heroes doing stupid things, and so much wrong with the screenplay. You can't even begin to break it down. But it, like we said, it all goes to the fact that it's just this uneven movie where the villain is far more interesting than the heroes, and you just really don't care about all of this. But it's a movie that has very, very good things about it. Yeah. Good acting despite the bad dialogue.
Yeah.
Amazing effects. A good atmosphere. They're very creepy and unsettling at times. Atmosphere.
A lot of things work in this movie. I mean, this movie, like comparing it to our last Halloween movie, it looks like better made by comparison, even despite the lack of the weak script, weak editing, weak direction in some parts.
Yeah. I kind of blame the director. I mean, the writing is there, but I mean, Abominable Dr. Phibes is a great movie.
Yeah.
But I really don't think that Fuest...
Or was Bryanston like jumping in the editing and forcing them to cut to the scares quicker kind of thing?
I don't know.
You wonder if they were like stepping and going, you know what, we did Chainsaw Massacre, in the first 15 minutes you had something happening, this isn't happening here.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm doing bad cliche mafia here. Oh, my God.
Oh, Jordan, very quickly, do you think this movie deserves a sequel or a remake? The Further Adventures of Corbus?
A remake? I would take a remake. Yeah, a remake in better hands would be interesting. Sure. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think a remake. Who would play Corbus?
John Hamm.
Ooh.
I just thinking off the top of my head. I don't know. But yeah, you got to think charismatic, I guess.
Yeah. He'd almost be too charismatic. You're like, oh, Corbus. You know, I don't... Leave Corbus alone, guys.
Yeah, I guess you got to think charismatic cult leader.
Tom Hanks. What if Tom Hanks played Corbus?
Oh my God.
Instead of David S. Pumpkins.
Yeah, now you're talking shit. Tom Hanks bringing the power where he'd be like charismatic and frightening at the same time.
Yeah,
you know,
I'd like to see that.
You give like Corbus the backstory where he's like the charismatic cult leader that drew people into his satanic cult.
I will haunt thy descendants, Preston. Anyway, so Jordan, what kind of rating do you give this movie?
I give this, man, this is a tough one. I'll give it 6 out of 10. I'm being critical for the reason of the script and the direction hindering everything else. For all of its hindrances, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. Horns from a horny goat devil played by Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah, wow.
But
harsh.
Just because of that, but everything else is so effective. I don't know. Okay, maybe I'll bump it to a 7, actually, because of its effectiveness. Because it is fucking creepy.
Yeah.
I think I gave last year's movie a worse rating, so this is definitely bumped up from last year's rating, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you give it?
Actually, yeah, independently, I gave it a 6 out of 10. TVs and a devil egg.
Damn, okay. I was an upgrade from you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's really good at some things, but that, I want to say, honestly, that's harsher than probably I feel. I think as a cult movie, it's a little gem. It is so weird. It is so fun.
Yeah.
But technically speaking, it does a lot of things wrong. You know, there's promise here.
And this movie helped John Travolta discover Scientology. Let's not forget that, Anthony. We don't want to forget that.
And that's what's really important here, guys. That's the takeaway.
Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, yeah, like
No, but I love this movie. I'd watch it again. Everyone check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, we've described it, but no. Watch it.
I will not kick this movie out of my flash drive, although I found a sharper version on YouTube.
Wow.
Because it's everywhere.
But anyway, no, it's a great movie. It's a good Halloween movie. It's just very bizarre, and it's disappointing. That's why it gets the lower rating from me. What it could have been. It could have been The Damned Exorcist. Well, not quite.
Yeah.
But it could have been on that level of The Omen, maybe. It could have been on that level, but with just a perfect amount of weirdness. And it just folds back a little bit. I mean, it doesn't hold back, but it doesn't pull it together as tightly as it should.
It'd make a perfect double bill with Race with the Devil, though.
Agree. Which is a better movie.
The movie that came from its same year, yeah. Yeah, which is a better movie by comparison.
Handles satanic paranoia better without a bunch of melting people at the end.
What if some crazy person cut both these movies together into one?
Peter Fonda and Corbus, hey, man, you know, I'm not digging your vibe, man. We just want to ride our bikes here and ride around in our RV, man. You know, and get high and get loaded, man.
They both, just like every 70s horror movie, they all end on existential moments, you know.
Yeah.
Even if you live, you're not going to be the same afterwards, obviously.
The Satanists win.
Yeah.
People, if we don't smash this egg, the Satanists win. Well, the Satanists won. So, yeah, sorry, everyone.
The villain still wins, yeah.
Even in the 70s. All right, Jordan. That has been The Devil's Reign. Wow. A fun movie.
What a fun movie for the whole family. In fact, I'm going to watch this with my daughter and wife.
Yeah.
I had this on with my kid in the room, and she barely paid it. She'd look up every now and then and be like, never mind. It's one of Daddy's crazy movies.
Melting faces, whatever.
Melting
Kids
faces,
today,
whatever.
Looking at their tablets or like whatever.
Satanist, typical. That's his daddy's typical movie.
Yeah. And everyone, we hope you've enjoyed this.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
No, it's okay. I was going to put the music over this part, but anyway, if there is any music. So maybe you'll hear some weird-ass music playing. But anyways, so yeah, I think the music was quite effective and a little bit creepy at times, especially in the first part. The second part is just, it's a roller coaster ride, the second part. But anyways, Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it, especially our new listeners. If you like this, hey, watch some of our other episodes. And tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell random strangers if you like this podcast.
I know I do.
Yeah. Anyway, like and subscribe, hit those buttons on the good ones on however you're listening to this. And we hope you enjoyed this Halloween episode. And Jordan, happy 50th episode.
Happy 50th, buddy. Hey, pat on the back. Hey. All right, yeah.
All right, Jordan, this has been...
The robots took my podcast. Clovis! Goddamn you!
All trailers, clips, music, or any other copyrighted material are used sparingly, edited from their original forms, and used for the purposes of criticism, discussion, commentary, and education about these fine films.